crisp for you. We won't hold you back any longer. Why governance? Governance because we're operating in a not very easy ecosystem in Europe. And our young companies deserve to have the best governance, the best corporate governance possible. And so about 3 years ago, we set out with a group of independent directors to write a guide on that for early stage governance. It's typically not something you see at the early stage level, but we believe that actually giving the necessary governance framework to a young company is excellent because it actually enhances the performance statistically. But also we believe that it's extremely important because it's an effective lever for the development of startups in Europe, because we're talking about cross-fertilization in the ecosystem. So with this, I'd like to hand over to Jean-Luc, who's an independent director and a member of the Conseil d'administration of APIA, les administrateurs professionnels indépendants associés. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Jean-Christophe. Just a few words on APIA before coming back on the guide. APIA is an association of around 250 members. The association is established in France, all around France, not only in Paris, but also in Switzerland and in Belgium. And the 250 members are all former or current directors of companies, startups, SMEs, or small, large companies, ETI, like we say in French, or Mittelstand in Germany. When I say directors, I mean CEOs or members of the board. And our mission is to promote good governance in these categories of companies, notably through the presence of independent directors. But let's go back on the guide.
This one. Okay.
Yeah, we have structured the guide along the cycles and the various stages in the life of a startup, and the guide is called, and the guide is aimed at founders of startups, whether they're alone or with professional investors. And it's focused at its early governance guide. It's focused at the two first stages. The first stage, where you have the genesis of the project, the creation of the company, and the takeoff. And the second stage, when we've got professional investors with them, until and including the exit of the investors, and before the IPO.
So on this slide, we have tried to visualize it because sometimes a picture, a visualization explains much more than 1,000 words, and it gains a lot of time and people understand what we actually want to get to. Maybe one little detail, because this is the next point we're talking about. You see that little moop in the left corner here with a star? This is one of the things where we have done a deep dive in that governance guide. It's just a 50-page booklet, and actually it's fresh from the press, and we hope to receive it in the next couple of minutes. So you'll be the first one to actually be able to see and touch it. We haven't seen it ourselves. So it establishes really the framework between the co-founders or the source person of the project, of the venture. And it's very important to do that very early stage and not just wait until the first investors join the company, because then when you meet in front of the notary public, it's a bit late to come down to the really serious topics of, okay, what's your horizon in terms of exit and these type of scenarios. That's why we encourage people to do that very early stage, even ideally before the incorporation of the company, because it'll guide a lot of strategic questions on how to set up the entity properly. Is it enforceable? Not necessarily. A memorandum of understanding and process it creates a psychological contract. But it's important because it actually sets the basis of collaboration and is the first indicator of the culture of the company. Do you want to have an open, collaborative way of working together with the co-founders? I think that's essential. And more than one young company has broken because this crucial step was ignored or taken lightheartedly. The other thing we're talking about?
Yes, we cover other things, but it's just a summary here. All the things that we cover are aimed and at our advices to startup founders. And at the end of the day, we are definitely, we think, our belief is that a good governance is a good thing to allow a startup to scale up. Among our 10 recommendations at the end of the guide, one is very important for us. We think that at the very beginning of the startup and all along its life, it's necessary to have independent directors in the board because they are not representative of any shareholder group. They will be always focused on the social interest of the company. Thank you.